Okay guys, I apologise for that break between the two videos. Somebody just came into my room that I needed to deal with. So, looking at the second example, so EG2. Okay, so my second example I've got is, let's take something like 6.1 divided by 3.4. I'm going to rule off this first because I want to keep it nice and neat. I'm going to rule off this first one to make it clear. Okay, so 6.1 divided by 3.4. Now when I multiply one of these, I want to make these into whole numbers. So I'm going to times that by 10 to make 61. But I need to make sure that they're both multiplied by the same amount, otherwise it will not work. So that gives me 61 divided by 34. And again, I can use my long division method here. So again, I'm going to keep one number per square. I'm going to line it up just because it will look neat. And I have 61, and I'm going to divide it by 34. So how many times does 34 go into 6? Not at all. How many times does 34 go into 61? Well, it goes in once, because 2 lots of 34 would be 68. So that's as far as I can go. Now 1 lot of 34 is 34, so I'm going to write that below. I'm doing 1 times 34. Gives me 34. I'm going to take away, should have added that in there as well, to find the remainder. So I'm going to count up to see the difference between 44, 54, that's 20 more, and then another 7. So it's 27 is the remainder. Now 34 doesn't go into 27, so here again is my key step. I'm going to add in the decimal point below and above, and add in my 0. Okay, because it's the same as 61.0. I'm then going to bring that down, and I'm going to say how many 34s go into 270. Well, I'm just going to work this out by doubling and so on. So 34 times 2 I know is 68. So if I double that again, that would be 34 times by 4, wouldn't it? And that would be 136. So 136 is 4 times. So if I doubled that again, so I would have 34 times by 8, that would be 272. Well, I'm just a bit too high, because I've got to see how many times does 34 go into 270. So it must go in 7 times. Now 7 times is 34 less than 272, because that's 1 lot of 34 less. So if I took 34 away from there, I'd have 238. Okay, so that's it. So it goes in 7 times. I'm going to put 7 up here, and that comes to 238. Now if I'm doing this to 1 decimal place, I can't stop there because I don't know whether this 1.7 is going to round up to 1.8 or stay at 1.7. I need to do 1 more column's worth. So I'm going to subtract these to find what I've got left over. So what I've got left over is 32. And if you want to do that with your column method, you can. So turn it to 6, turn it to 10. 10 take away 8 is 2. 6 take away 3 is 3. 2 take away 2 is nothing. So I've got 32 left over. Okay, so I need to add another 0. So I'm going to bring down that 0, and that gives me 320 here. Well, how many lots of 34 go into 320? Well, I know that 10 lots of 34 would be 340, so 10 lots of 34 equals 340. So I know it's going to have to be 9 lots that go into it. So 9 lots of 34 is 34 less than that, which is 306. I don't need to carry on because I can see that this rounds up. So the answer is 1.8 to 1 decimal place. You can pause the video any time to write the example out clearly, make sure you've understood it, rewind it, etc. I'm going to rule that section off, and I'm going to give one more example. Okay, so what if I have something like this? 0.32 divided by 0.004. Well, this one looks tricky to begin with. But I need to remember that I'm going to times it by a power of 10. Okay, no, a factor of 10. So a power of 10. So 10 or 100 or 1,000, but I need to get rid of the decimals. So the amount which I need to times by is 1,000 in order to make that one into 4. Okay, but if I'm timesing that by 1,000, then this also has to be times by 1,000. So this becomes, so times by 10 would be 3.2, times by 100 would be 32, times by 1,000 would be 320. And actually, you probably don't need to go through this now, because there's a couple of ways you could do this. You know that 32 divided by 4 is 8, so you should know that 320 divided by 4 is 80. And you also know that to divide by 4 you can halve and half again, so I'd get half of 320 is 160, and half of that again is 80, so my answer is 80. Now I'm going to set you 3 questions to do. You're probably going to need to turn your page over, draw yourself out another ruler, another margin with a ruler, and then you're now going to do 3 questions yourself. So, question 1. Write each question in and then do your working out, and show all of your working out and come to an answer, then write the next question in. Okay, so don't write them all in now, but I will give them each to you. So you write question 1 in, you pause the video, and then you do that, and then you put question 2 in lower, and question 3, and so on. So question 1 I'd like you to do is 4.2 divided by 3.6. Question 2 is 12.8 divided by 0.4. Question 3, 0.64 divided by 0.016. And question 4, 6.1 divided by 0.85. Right, so do those each in turn, showing all your working out, and just one more note. I'll give you the due date for this in class. Okay, so I'll let you know when this is due in class. Thank you.